I know you like the intro, so I'm gonna hit the intro just to let you know, just because you probably like it. So. What is up, everybody? Have a happy Thursday. Sorry, I'm looking at my food. It's been a long day, and I was kind of hungry. Um, Welcome to another episode of a Stoked podcast. I am Javon Stokes. I am your host. I am artist, writer, creator of Heat Strong, Visually Stoked Media. That's who I am. I don't know where Jamari is. He's always late. Y'all know. So, um, we have a good show today. I hope everybody had a good day. We have a really good friend of mine who just popped his way in. I'm gonna be really unprofessional today. I just got my food, so I might have to dip it in, but that's all right. We all family here. We all family. I'm looking scruffy because I'm getting a jump on no shave, no Movember or whatever you call it. So I'm gonna be a little. It's gonna look like this. So I'm okay. I just want everybody to understand. I do have a barber, but I'm letting it ride. But yeah, I got a really good, talented young man who I'm known for. When I really think about it, it's over 10 years now, which is crazy. Uh, we were we are both alumni of SCAD. This isn't his intro, but I'm just talking about him. A really talented guy. I'm always rooting for him because he's always doing some good stuff. But I'm gonna bring him in right now because Jamari's late and there's no need to stall. So let me clear my throat. Get that little phlegm out. I had a milkshake. I got a milkshake right now, so if I ain't singing, so I can just talk. All right. Tonight's guest is a fellow alumni of the Savannah College of Art and Design, an incredibly talented Atlanta-based photographer. His portfolio is wide and diverse, but I'm particularly fond of his work with cosplayers. He takes great pains to show the power and the prestige of the characters portrayed. Along with his work as a freelance photographer, he's currently an instructor at the Atlanta School of Photography, while also guest speaking at various events and workshops. Let's all give a Stoked podcast round of applause. So I'm going to call him how I know him, Drew Phillips. What's good, man? What's good?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you. You got the grill. You got to do the Atlanta greeting. Looking like you're in the Sierra video. What's good, man? What's good?
Not much.
Long time no talk to, man.
I know. I see you all the time on Facebook. Like we always talking on Facebook.
I know.
Social media. I feel like we're connected when we're really.
Right. We talk so much on your post or my post, but we haven't actually spoken in probably a decade, maybe.
Yeah, it's been a while. That's what social media
welcome.
Do to you.
Yeah, I see your stuff in the background. I see you got your love for Star Wars on full display.
Well, the whole idea of the Mandalorian, my new favorite after watching Mando.
So, okay.
But if this is my classroom, you'll see us.
Okay. Well, are we going to do a whip around the classroom or no?
Oh no, this. I mean, I got some stuff around, but you'll see like.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
That's the series.
Oh, that's hot. Listen. I try to tell everybody this man is talented. I wish I was a photographer like him, but I can't commit to it. That's always been holding me back. Like I was going to buy the camera, but man, that's an expensive art medium.
Yeah, it's a one time. It's usually like a one lens, and then you get light.
You're breaking up, man. You're breaking up.
Oh, let me see if I can.
Yeah, you got like a delay going on. Nope, can't hear you now. Nope.
Huh.
So viewers of my show, y'all understand it's every 3 or 4 episodes we have technical difficulties, so we right on time, we right on track. That's right. While he working it out, I just want to tell everybody, if you haven't gone and watched She-Hulk this week, go and watch it. You're missing out.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. It's just a delay, but we'll work around it.
Do it's like a Chinese movie?
Yeah, pretty much. But that's all right. We'll work around it. Man, it's good to see you, man. It's good to see you thriving. You know, you always posting good stuff. You know, using that degree that you paid handsomely for.
Still paying.
We both paid handsomely. Oh my goodness. Let's not get into that.
Right.
I try to like paint SCAD in a good light when I'm on this show, because I kind of want them to pay for me to come and talk to people. It'll never happen, but I don't know if I'm even on their radar, but that's okay. That's all right.
Yeah.
But let's get started, because we got plenty of time to catch up. And viewers of my show know I always kind of start off with the same similar type of question. And for you, it's, when did your love of photography start?
At SCAD, I was in the illustration program, photo department, to take drawings.
Really?
And then
I didn't know that.
And then I was like, you know what? I was like, bet, I need this stuff all the time. So I got the job there doing the work study. And then I don't need to draw these anymore. I can just take that. But after that, I was just like, it's the easiest fact. So the drawing is tedious. It takes time. Illustration is always going to be my first love, but it's quick. And if I need to make a change.
Are you using a mic, or are you just straight from the computer?
I have a mic.
You might want to try the mic. Try the mic. Yeah, try the mic. That's all right. I'll keep everybody entertained. So yeah, She-Hulk was really good. If you're not on it, you gotta get on it. I do want to say one thing. If you watch Top 5, you saw a very animated discussion about Chadwick Boseman and the Black Panther sequel. I want to apologize. I think I'm not going to talk about that anymore. Like, I'm not going to bring it up unprompted. Like, if you ask me for my opinion, I will give it to you. But I think I get too worked up about it. And I was thinking about it today, and I think one of the reasons I get worked up about it is because, and I talked to Jamari about this. Oh, okay. All right. Hi, Dana. Welcome to the show. Please stay on. We just got some technical difficulties. We're getting there. But anyway, I think I get worked up about it is because I've been a fan of Black Panther since I've been reading comics, and my stuff goes all the way back to the 80s. So I've been waiting so long for them to actually do a movie, and to finally get a movie with the character T'Challa. It's unfortunate, the situation that happened, but like, I can't see past my fandom when it comes to this. Not that I don't appreciate and like Chadwick Boseman, and I genuinely was sad when he passed, but I can't see past my fandom. So I think that'll be the last time, especially like if Morgan and Danny try to bring it up again. I'm trying not to say nothing, but I think I'm kind of done with that discussion. I kind of said what I had to say on Facebook. I don't think I'm gonna go into it anymore. Y'all know how I feel about it. If you want to have a discussion one-on-one in person, Hey, we got Jamari. Hey, are you done running drugs in Colombia?
No, it's never done. It's never ever done, sir.
All right, we got our guest, but he's when did I tell you? Every 2 or 3 or 4th episode, we got some technical difficulties, so he's trying to work through his sound problems. I'm gonna do like
Okay.
this for him. I'm gonna mute him, so you know. But
Just to tell you everything straight up, right?
yeah, I was basically stalling and telling people that I'm done publicly, unprompted, speaking about the Black Panther recasting. I'm over it. I'm done. I'm not.
You might as well just get used to it. That's
I
gonna
mean,
be
I'm used to it. I've been used to it.
that's
All
gonna
right,
be
hold
your big.
on.
That's gonna be those big boy problems, man.
I'm used to it. I gotta be perfectly honest with you. I'm used to it. I'm looking forward to the movie, but you know, my excitement for it is dull. How we doing? How we doing, Drew?
I'm trying with things.
Okay, take your time. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Namer. I'm looking forward to everything about it, but I'm not as excited as I will. You remember how I was when Black Panther first got announced.
Well, yeah, we talked up to that one for I know that's that 6 months leading up to Black Panther. We were really going
Right.
back and forth about that.
You know, I was really excited about it. And so, but now I'm just like, okay, the second one's coming out. Oh, it looks really good. You know, I'll go see it. But I'm not like a lot of people are like amped and they're super excited. And you know, more power to them. I'm not trying to take anything away from them. Like, if you're excited, be excited. I'm not,
It's
unfortunately.
it's not what I wanted, but I'm more excited than I thought I would be. I'm still not amped. It's not the same amping that I was when the first one came out.
Well, my excitement gets dulled on multiple levels, right? I'm not excited that T'Challa's not in there.
Of
Number
course.
one. I'm not excited because we don't get the real rivalry between him and Neymar. Like that was like it's such a great rivalry in the books, and we're not going to get that. You know, we're going to get
Whatever
a different reason. Like it's just not the same for me. Like there's a lot of things that just are different, and I'm rolling with it. It's just not what I want, and I'm not I'm not a give me what I want or I'm gonna whine. But people, I'm just not gonna bring it up. Like this is the last time I'm speaking about it publicly. Now, if somebody asks me my opinion, I'll give it, and then I'll be it. I'm not trying to convince anybody that I'm right or wrong or that my way is valid or anything.
I remember we were talking about that even leading up to that announcement.
You want to switch this one out, Drew? Okay. All right, let me do this. All right. Well,
switch cameras.
Try it now. Can you say something?
Yeah, you hear me?
That's definitely better.
Boy.
Better.
Yeah, boy.
Much better. You still kind of like a martial arts movie, but not a badly one. But I can hear you better. I can hear you better.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, the last one was like 4 seconds off. This one's like 2.
Maybe, yeah.
You're good though. You're good. So let's go back. You said you came into SCAD and you did illustration, but you saw the power of the value in doing photography. So tell us how that continue on with that transition, that story.
So yeah, so that one was one of those things where it's like it's not only it's a way for me to meet people. It's a quick, easy way for me to make money, and it's a quick, easy way for me to get my idea. A lot of times I can just see somebody and I'm like, man, you look dope. You should let me take your picture. Versus when I'm like, oh, now I gotta either have him sit for me, and then I gotta sketch it out, and I'm gonna do it in pencil, watercolor. It's like there's a whole process. So I still do illustration. Like I still do a lot of illustration, but for the most part, photography is where most of my bookings. I would say my bookings are all photography because I can do events. I can do weddings. I can do portraits. I can do all that stuff. That's my thing. So that's the easiest, quickest way for me to get an idea out and do and stay in the nerddom community is doing cosplay stuff.
You know, it's interesting. I wonder how many people, like I know it happens in college a lot, like a regular university, people will go and they'll be like, I want to do this major. And then they were like, oh, no, that looks cool over there. Let me try that. Like, I wonder how often, because I feel like changing majors in art school is like, I feel like it's different. Because, like, if I went into art school for fashion, and I was like, well, we'll look at 3D animation. Like, that's a huge shift. And, but like illustration and photography is a huge shift too, though, when you think about it. Mind you, I started out way back when I was in Savannah. I came and I was like, I'm going to do sequential art. And then I got there and I heard how much sequential artists make. And I was like, nah, what else y'all got? And I found 3D animation and I was like, bet. So I'm with you in looking at it from a financial point of view, but it always like I always want to like, I'm always interested in people who take a hard, change and why. So it's really interesting to hear that for yours, it sounds like it was more for simplicity's sake.
It was something I can grind on real hard and get good at fast results. Is I can get these quick results. Like if I switch lighting up and I switch it up, I'm like, that works. Okay, that didn't work. Okay, I'm gonna take a picture of this lighting setup. And I mean, after me doing that, that's when SCAD sent me to Hong Kong. They're like, yo, you're always in the studio shooting. You want to go over to Hong Kong and open the campus? And I was like, yeah. I said, all right.
Wow, really?
Yeah. Literally, I was just always in the studio shooting. And then they were like, do you want Hong Kong? And they were like, you always doing fashion and all that stuff. I was like, yeah. I'm leaving the United States. So that was already life changing. And that's
what year was that?
You know what I mean? This was this is way back when, 2010.
Okay, so this is after I left.
Mm-hmm.
Man, what year were you when I met you? Y'all make me feel real freaking old right now.
Well, no, don't forget, because I did undergrad. I did undergrad way back when I graduated, and then after that, my buddy Omar. I don't know if you remember Omar Richardson. Bahamian.
Yeah. Omar.
Yeah. Omar was like, yo, you need to go back to do masters in photography. He's like, go to your masters, okay. So I was like, all right, bet. So when I went, he was helping me out, and I was just in there shooting, always shooting, doing new, because I would stay in the cave till like 3 a.m. and people who was doing work, the cave, I'd be there till 3 in the morning just shooting. I was just like, I live right next door, so I'm just being here shooting, because they like, Drew's not closing up anytime soon. So
yeah, I used to see you because I was there till like 3. I was there till they shut down the computers. Like yeah. So what happened? Jamari's looking at me like, what are you talking about?
I'm trying to piece together. So did you guys know each other at the Atlanta campus or at the Savannah?
Atlanta.
Okay.
Atlanta campus.
Mm-hmm.
And the cave is one of the
it's where they rent out. Yeah, in the we had shooting bays, and then we had room area, and then we had the cave where we rented out all the equipment. So the cave is basically come get your camp.
I actually took a group of kids last week on a tour of SCAD, and I was wondering if we actually got to see the cave or not. So I was.
If you went on, I think it was that changed so much. I think it was the 4th floor. Oh no, it was the 5th. It was the 5th floor. The 5th. Yeah. If you went to the 5th floor, and you would see all the shooting bays in the back. All the photography.
They didn't get us through there because we missed. I know for a fact we missed some stuff, but so
it's bigger now. It's way bigger.
It is.
Atlanta is so much bigger.
I remember going through with you and Jamal, and it was a vast change from when I saw it with you guys.
It was like tiny when I was there. Like I'm trying to picture for you. It was like almost 2 buildings, right?
It was the DMC building and our main building.
Right. There was only like 2. And then the last time I went back to SCAD, they had that building plus the building built behind it, plus the animation building.
They're working on another building now.
Right. There's another building too, I think.
Yeah, they're working on another one that'll be open either next year.
I think they're trying to mimic the Savannah campus. Because Savannah campus has like different buildings all over the city. Have you ever been?
I've been down the times. My homegirl Kalisha, she was a fashion major. Daniel and Alfredo. You remember Daniel?
Oh yeah, I remember Daniel and Alfredo. How they doing?
Yeah, so Daniel works like 78 hours a week, and both Alfredo works a lot. But me, Daniel and Alfredo modeled for Kalisha down in Savannah. So that Savannah is to model in. They had the big old fashion show with Andre Leon, so and Miss J. Alexander and all that stuff. So it was the only time. Savannah's where I started drinking.
Okay.
I remember that.
You know what? There ain't much to do there. There ain't much to do. Like, if I'm being honest with you, like, I'm not a drinker. Like, I'm not a big drinker. But when I was going back in 99, 2000, it was nothing to do. So it was like house parties and people hang out in the dorms because the city life, I mean, Savannah's like one block. Like the downtown is literally like one street, maybe like 4 blocks long, and that's it. And it had 2 clubs. That was it. It was a black club and a Spanish club. And 3 clubs. It was a black club, a Spanish club, and like a rock club. And that was it. And they had bars, a couple bars. So you really ain't have much to do but drink. So, it was either drink or play video games. And I stuck with video games.
Drink while playing video games.
I didn't master that or even try it, but hey, listen, man, you gotta do what you gotta do.
I have to say, I have not done a lot of drinking, mixing my video games with drinking.
I played Street Fighter. I was playing Street Fighter. I play Street Fighter a lot. And man, Fighter drunk. Them boys online was like, because my name online is Yo Drew. They were like, "What's wrong with you?" I was dropping all kind of combos, and they're just like, "What's wrong?" I think I'm upside down.
No, you good. You good.
See, now you're talking about dropping combos. You clearly played at least.
We'll get into that. We'll get into that. I want to keep it. Let's keep the professional, and then we'll get back there. I'm gonna put up for everybody watching. I'm gonna put up some of Drew's work as we talk. So, if you feel like stopping, and telling about a piece, let me know and I'll stop. Huh?
You talking about me stopping and telling about a piece?
Yeah, like if you see something, you're like, yeah, that, just tell me to stop. Okay. So let me ask you this. Speaking about SCAD, how do you, obviously you got your start at SCAD as a photographer, but like explain to us and people watching, like how it like helped you like realize this is what you wanted to do and also helped you get there.
So wait, say the question again. It's like
you said that you chose to go to photography while you're at SCAD. You went from illustration to photography.
Yeah.
How did they help develop your talent? Like how do you feel that they helped you develop your talent?
Well, okay, so in the master's program, they don't do much in the master's program. That's where they expect you to know what you're doing and where you're going when you're in the master's program already. Steve, the guidance of Steve Eichmann, when he was there, that dude was deal professor. He was the one that would really push you and you hone your own skill and who you are. He's not trying to make you be somebody else and that photographer, or look at this photographer and do their stuff. He literally was like, yo, who are you? Who you can be. And even when I was in Hong Kong, a lot of times when I was shooting, I would get frustrated because I'm like, yo, I don't. He's like, what are you missing? He's like, look at your work. And I'm like, yeah, what is? I don't get it. He's like, all your like Street Fighter backgrounds. I was like, oh, avoiding it. He's like, literally go into that stuff and do what you do. Stop trying to be like this, that, and who you are. So, you know, Steve was one of those people that, man, he would really mold the person and encourage you. He'd make you feel like you're on top of the world with your work. So I think that I leveled up in that program. That is more of like, hey, come here, tell us why you're, and then be out. You know what I mean? And they had you know, professors there to tell you if you know it's irrelevant if it's like it or not. But for the most part, like I said, Steve is one of those people would hone your skills and let you know how to find your own greatness.
Okay. So there's not a lot of like technical stuff that you learn. Like it was more like you do you, and I'm gonna help you figure out what you can do to get better.
Yeah, for me, because remember I told you I would be in the cave till 3 a.m. So even know if he's still there, but Travis Dodd, he'd be like, a lot of classes that I have to take. He's like, oh, you're not gonna learn anything in there. You have to take it, but you're not gonna learn anything in there because he knew I was always in there doing all that stuff already. A lot of the stuff was it's a class, but it's what you've been doing already. So it's not something that it didn't have something to teach. It's because I was already in there grinding, doing it. You know what I mean? Not to say that SCAD isn't educating people. It's because Drew was already in there just trying to get that. I'm like, I've already made 15 mistakes and found out how to get that correct. So I take the class. I'm like, all right, well, just give me the stuff. I'm just gonna go shoot. You know what I mean?
That's interesting. I'm gonna let Jamari answer a question, but it's interesting you say it like that because I remember I was talking to what's his name? I always forget the teacher's name, and I feel so bad because he was like my favorite teacher there. But I was talking to a teacher before I graduated, and I was like, yeah, you know, I was thinking about coming back and getting my master's. It's like, yeah, you don't need to come back and get your master's. And I was just like, really? Like, I'm thinking like the teacher wouldn't encourage me to like do this. And he was just like, nah, you don't need to do that. Like, you learned what you needed to learn. You need to go out there and get a job. That's basically what he told me.
Yeah.
But go ahead, Jamari.
I would agree with that.
So from the sound now, I'm trying to piece together your experience, by the way, what you're talking, the way you're speaking about it, because it sounds like you are in some ways a savant, or at least in the fact that you were putting in so much work of trial and error on your own that you were able to kind of, I guess, crash through a lot of the technical learning a lot of other people normally would have to put time in class to do. So what's the more accurate version of that?
Yeah, it's a grind. Definitely not a savant. And a lot of it came from my background of illustration. So a lot of the way I pose and how I do things comes from my drawing background. So how I would compose a drawing and how I from nothing is the same way I'm like, oh, well, I have actual light now. So instead of doing like, okay, so let's say I got one of Javon's characters and I'm like, bet. So what I'm going to do is he's going to be like this. He's going to be holding like this. Oh, he's going to be doing an energy blast. Boom. So I'm like, well, if he's doing an energy blast, I have to do light on his face like that. So I'm going to use some white and I'm going to put some orange right there, but there's going to be shadow coming here. Fine. But now with photography, I'm like, oh, bet. I'm going to throw a light right here. And then I'm going to put another reel. It's just, I can apply actual light versus just creating it in my mind. So I've already thought about it. So I'll sketch out my compositions now before I do a photo shoot. And it's just like, oh, the light's going to come straight out of Photoshop. A lot of the cosplay stuff I do, if I have a character doing an energy blast, I literally have to, so they have fire, light's gonna come a certain way. So I have to light. Oh, that's a good one. So like with Ahsoka, they weren't lit, so I had to add the light in of how lightsaber light would be coming off the lightsaber line. You know, does that make sense? So it's like when I would draw it, I would have to do it like that. Like, oh, bet.
Okay. So you already, you already had that in mind because you've thought about it from the standpoint of you, from your illustration background, brought that into play.
With it was Anakin. It was Kelly. I forgot who. Anakin. You know, he had a lightsaber. I was like, oh, bet I have a red gel and I have a blue gel. So I'm gonna hit with a blue gel, and then that's gonna create the light from the lightsaber. You know what I mean? And then I'll do the rest and things like that. Applying the actual ideas of light, but coming from the illustration.
You know, it's funny. I'm thinking as an illustrator, how you're talking and how like, well, you know, perspective and everything. It's got to be like freeing to not have to find a vantage point and do all that other stuff to draw it. And usually, oh, just stand like here. I'll get to the depth that I need to get at and everything like that. Now, I got some of your stuff, your illustration stuff, and I was just like, I saw it and I was like, I didn't know you were this good.
Oh, I appreciate you.
Like I was just like, I didn't know he was as good as an illustrator. I thought you were just a photographer. So you know, it was nice to see it. Is this what medium do you prefer though?
Oh, if you were to throw me on an island and say I only had one medium, give me a pen, a ballpoint pen, and some paper, and I'll be good to go.
A ballpoint pen?
Yeah, I draw. I start my drawings with ballpoint pen, and then I go into I do watercolor and then color pencil.
Really? Do you find that like why pen as opposed to pencil?
So I can't go back. So I can't go back. If I use a pencil, I'll be tempted to erase if I don't like.
Oh, we lost him. Drew, we lost you. Oh, there we go. Can't hear you. Sometimes I wonder if it's restreamed. Nope. That's interesting that I'm gonna vamp while he's talking, but it's really interesting that he said he uses pen. I know a lot of artists use pen, and I'm always so jealous of people who can draw with pen, because that's like walking a tightrope with no net. If you screw up, you got to start all over. So like I'm always like, I wish I could do that, and I wish I was really good with it. Like I use pen, but it's after I've drawn pretty much the whole thing out in pencil. So I'm always in. Also, a shout out to I don't want to butcher his name. Is it King Jong? The artist. He just passed away. And I feel bad. I've always watched his work from afar, but I'm gonna try and find his name. But I think it was Kim Jong-ji. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. But he's an amazing artist. He the way his brain works is like he literally just draws. He doesn't sketch. He just draws. And it all comes out like amazing. He doesn't do like, you know, a lot of artists, they do the perspective line and the vanishing point and all this other stuff that we do. If he draws a building, that joint's just coming out in pen.
He doesn't. So he doesn't need to. He doesn't.
No, he doesn't need any. He doesn't need the underdrawing. He doesn't need any of that. Like Drew will be back on. I apologize. Sometimes, like I said, it's every third or fourth episode we have technical difficulties. That's all right. But Kim Jong-ji, he hold on, let's see. Drew, you there? He's still working on it. I'm gonna put you. Well, but yeah, he just draws like straight from his head. It's almost like freestyle rapping. You know, when you freestyle, you're not
Yeah.
writing lyrics down. You're not trying to figure out how stuff works. You just go. And that's what he does. He freestyles like with a pen. And he's doing like amazing work. If I could show you some of the stuff, you'd be like, there's no way he did any sketching. Like, but I promise you, he has video after video after video of say something. You can't hear us? Well, we're here.
Yeah.
We're
Now
here.
you can hear us.
Here,
And
I'm gonna
it's
send another I'll send another invite. See if that works. But Kim Jong, you know, he's very much, you know, he's pretty much a savant. Like, if I'm keeping it real, like he's very much a savant. I don't know what I don't know much about his background, but I remember I just started following him like on a whim a few years ago on Twitter. And every time I'm just like, there's no way in hell this man can do this, you know, off the top of his head. And he did. Drew, we can't hear you, man.
So
right, I'm gonna take him off until he gets that fixed.
So let me ask you this though, because you know, there's a heavy emphasis on that experience from SCAD. So I'll ask you, what would
Can you hear us? Try the new link. Try the. Hold on.
Yeah. If you gotta, yeah, if you may have to send a message to him, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sending it to him now. Go ahead, answer. Go ahead, ask your question.
So what I'm thinking is, if you're going to go to a school like SCAD, for the most part, it's interesting because you and Drew, both of you switched majors and so you're focused. Right. I would imagine for a school that is expensive as SCAD and for what you have to do, that, as you said earlier, could be pretty detrimental. What do you think would help get you a little more focused on what give you some of that focus you would need in order?
Can you hear us?
To,
It's weird.
You can't hear us?
Let's see. I'll flip around.
I think we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Hear me.
Can you hear us?
You.
Okay, we can hear you.
We can hear you.
We can hear you. We can hear you.
Is it the old Chinese movie again?
Yes.
Yeah, but we can hear you though.
I don't know what happened.
It's all right.
It's,
I don't know.
It just,
we can hear you though. You can't hear us on the other one?
Everything is unmuted.
All right, here, try this again. Hold on. Can you hear us?
But not
you can hear us on the monitor, but not in there. Oh, that's all right. We'll make the best of it. Jamari asked, go ahead, ask the question again.
Well, essentially what I wanted to know is, do you think there's a way to help give a prospective student some focus so that they can kind of find their direction of their path when going to a school like SCAD? Because it gives you a lot of opportunities, but then there's also the things of, okay, this, like you, Javon, you made a choice due to wanting to make more money, and Drew, it sounds like you made it because you found something that fit your passions more so than your initial your initial focus.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Drew.
So definitely know you are getting into. You want to strive for, focus on that one thing, other things while doing it. If you're going for illustration classes, your graphic design class, don't pay for somebody else's class. If a painting class, just go sit in. You have any room in here? Can I sit and go and see all these other things? Like, for example, I shouldn't go, but I already can draw. The design or I should go to learn. That's something already. I need to go, or on what you want to do, but things while you're doing it. So I would tell him to take graphic design classes, to go take all that stuff he doesn't do because he already knows how to draw. Ready. So go learn something else. You're there doing what you do.
So you're a little breaking up, but I think I can summarize what you say. I know. So, and I agree with you're saying. So I'll elaborate. I think what Drew is saying is you can try different things, as in like a teacher won't be mad if you ask to sit in to listen to one of their classes, right? Like if you're in graphic design, but you're interested in painting, you can go to the teacher and say, hey, I'm interested in painting. Can I just sit and listen? And then generally that most of the time that teacher will be like, okay. I've sat in on a sequential art class. You can do those things, but I would say, honestly, I chose computer art because I liked cartoons.
Yeah.
Like literally, like I like cartoons and I like special effects in movies. And so like, it was like, okay, I know I can do comic books, but that looks really interesting. Now, the thing about SCAD is that you can probably go maybe 2 years without diving fully into your degree.
Yeah, they made it. They were saying at least at the very least for the first year,
For the first year you're okay. Like if you want to try this, because you're gonna do a lot of foundational classes in the beginning. You're gonna do like figure drawing and all that other stuff. Like I don't think I didn't touch my major until year 2.
Gotcha.
But even if I wasn't sure then, you can still take different courses. Now, the difference with SCAD is, I don't know if this is the same as what it used to be, but like when I was going, you only took 3 classes per quarter. It was 3 classes per quarter. Yeah, I remember because you took.
I think they
you would take like 2 classes.
Now, yeah.
You would take 2 classes on Monday and Tuesday, or 2 classes on Monday and Wednesday, 1 class on Tuesday and Thursday, and then you get Friday off. So it's not like you're taking a bunch of different classes. But like Drew said, if you're not sure what you want to do, honestly, if you're going to SCAD, you got to have some idea what you want to do because it's not like a regular university.
Correct. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you gotta at least have some direction. If there was a young man who came to me or young woman and said, I want to go to SCAD, I'm gonna be like, well, how often do you do work? What kind of art do you do? And if they can't really answer me that question, I'm like, you shouldn't go to SCAD. You should probably go to a university.
And that is what I've
been
kind of
things.
Yeah, and I've helped a couple of kids with that where it actually was a young lady wanted to do photography, and when it came down to it, it was like, okay, do you really want to spend the amount of money going there if that's not like you're dead set on passion? So she realized that she could probably take classes and go to regular school and still take photography classes on her time. And now that you've said this, where you can go possibly sit in on classes, that's even a better suggestion to take along with that. Whereas I've got another person, they want to do animation, but they have a hard focus on working on they have the background knowledge and on that already in terms of what they do with their own art. And then it's like, okay, so you should look into going to SCAD, and then showing that she also wants to do comic work. It fits in that whole idea of going to a place like that where they can get that kind of knowledge and that experience through the school with both disciplines. So
Well,
both of what you said sounds very helpful in both instances.
but what I would also add on to that, and Drew, you could feel free to comment on it. SCAD is not for somebody who likes to do art.
Yeah.
SCAD is for, I want a career in this field. Show me how to make a career in this field. Because I've seen a lot, I've said this over and over again. I've seen a lot of people who like to do art come to SCAD, and after one quarter, they're like, I can't do this. I'm going home. And they go to a regular university, and then they get a degree, and they do their artwork on the side, and they find joy in it. And that's great. Like, there are people who want to do art as a hobby, and then there are people who want to do it as a career.
And that is what with every kid I've dealt with that has talked about going to art school, I've said, do you want to do this for a living, or do you just want to draw Goku all day?
Oh, man. See, Drew laughing because I'm telling you, my first year, you know how many people that I went into SCAD and back in 99, and remember 99 was like when Cartoon Network was playing Dragon Ball Z.
That was the boom of
right,
anime in
and
this
there was
country.
so many kids who could only draw anime, and they would flunk. They were flunking courses because they couldn't do more than draw anime. And that's why, I tell people all the time, like, I've had people bring their daughters or sons and everything. They come up to me and they have these discussions with me. And I'm like, do you want this as a career, or do you want to do it because you just like to do it? And, most of them are like, I want to do this. I was like, no. Do you want to draw 13, 14 hours a day, 6-7 days a week, for sometimes very low pay? Like, is this something that you want to do?
I will say, doing this show has made me, like, inadvertently doing this and having these interactions with you and your fellow SCAD alum this has made me a better counselor in terms of, giving, little bits and pieces of advice when it comes to students in their future. Because I inadvertently deal with a lot of kids who have some sort of artistic desire within them, and you want to foster stuff, especially if they have anything that's driving them to be a better student. But it's this being able to tell them, okay, I can tell you from people that I know have done the thing you're talking about. You need to make your decisions about this, and this. Like you said, I've actually used your thing, Javon, about do the thing, the thing that you take, the thing you can't stand the most about art, the art that you like, do it 1,000 times, do it 1,000 more times till you're sick of it, and then do it again, because that's what's going to be required of you if you're going to make a living off of it. I have told students that very thing.
Go ahead, Drew. Go ahead, man.
Please,
I don't
Drew,
know. I don't talk about. Go ahead, man.
What I want is this to just pop off, because this is that part right there.
Can you only do? There's got to be a way to, like, call in, like, where if you want to just do, like, I think you could just do it when it's just like voice, if that's easier. I don't know if the link. I don't know if it's the link or what. Let me see. That's not it. Hold on. Audio. Maybe the audio. Okay. If you go into settings. You see where it's like a gear on your laptop. You see where it's a gear and it says settings. Okay, hit that and then go to audio. Now, what do you see? If you see
microphone now.
Okay, try that.
It's here.
Yeah. Try those different settings, the audio input and the audio output. Maybe. Huh?
That change anything?
That did
Go
work.
ahead,
Yeah.
yeah.
It looks like it's matching up with you.
A little bit.
So you can hear me now.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
See
He's
if we get
ready
there,
to
man.
go and talk.
All right. What was the question?
No, I try to be and I do these shows to get to know, for people to get the opportunity to show their stuff. And I'm gonna keep showing your stuff. But when it comes to like SCAD alumni, I find myself, yeah, go ahead.
So over and over again that you don't like. These kids, like now, I'll teach kids Illustrator right now, and I gotta do this, I gotta do that over. Do the thing that you don't have to do later. My thing, like hands are the most thing, right? And I'm
I hate
like,
hands.
oh gosh, gotta keep drawing. So sometimes I just look raw. Matter of fact, I'll draw with my this. I draw better with my left hand, right? And it's for this one, and I use my whole arm. I'm really doing full movement. This, but my thing is, I have to keep like it, then so I can get to like it. With ballpoint pen, never drawn with pen. Then once I started doing anything else, because it forces me. I don't go back. If I feel like I'm making a spot, you know what I mean? Keep doing the thing you don't like.
Man, we might have to have you back on again when we figure out this audio thing, because I know you dropping pearls, man. I don't know what it
I
is.
know.
Like
I would have put.
sometimes
I'm not even.
it's just like, that's why I was like, I don't know. Some people just go ahead, try your phone. All right, but yeah, while he's doing that,
in front of some kids, and like.
but yeah, while he's doing that, I mean, it's really a life lesson for anything. Like, when it comes to whatever career path you want to take, whatever career path you want to take, you can't just do the stuff that you like. You got to do the stuff that you don't like. So if you, especially creative, because if you want to be a singer, like if I was going to talk to a young person that wanted to be a singer, I'd be like, well, you should learn production. You should learn how to play the piano. You should learn. Drew, do you hear? Wow. Okay. He's working through that. But you should do you should do part of the jobs that you don't want to do. I'll tell you, I hate doing flatting for comic books. I hate
You've mentioned that to me.
I freaking hate it, man. And if I had the money, I'd pay somebody to do it tomorrow. But I learned a lot about coloring doing flatting. Like, I learned a lot about the coloring process while doing flatting. I don't really like doing lettering, but lettering, when I do lettering, it helps me later when I start drawing again. I have to think like a letterer, because, all right, do I have enough space for the words in this? My son is in here. Hey, buddy, you want to come say hi? No. All right. It's just it's madness today. That's all right. But yeah, like, it helps me. So, like, things that I learned when I was forced to do like a charcoal, or I was forced to do a color pencil. Drew, can you hear us? Can you hear us? Okay. Things that I learned to do while I doing the things that I don't like. Like, I really wasn't a big fan of doing charcoal artwork back then. I'm a little better at it now, but I don't do it as much anyway. But I wasn't a big fan of it. But I had to learn about, like, negative space, and sometimes just using blacks, like, as not like a line, but like to color in. Like, there's so much about composition that you need to learn just doing things from a different medium. And that's why I say, you know, if you just want to do this, if you just want to be an artist or any type of creative, if you want to just do it as a hobby, that's great. You know, do it as a hobby. That's cool. Um, but if you wanted to learn how to be a professional, then that's how SCAD helps you learn how to become a professional, like in a very expensive way, but it helps you learn how to become a professional artist, like to be able to draw on days when you don't want to draw, to do work on days when you don't want to do work. That's what it taught me, because I wasn't doing that before. Like I was drawing and doing artwork when I wanted to do it. But when I got there, I had to learn, all right, this project is due tomorrow. I don't really feel like doing it tomorrow. Hold on, let me get him back. Drew, you there?
Can you hear me?
Oh, perfect.
Much better. Yes.
I had to go get a whole new device.
That's cool. But that's all right. We got time. And we definitely give you some more time, because you know, I love this conversation. I always do, because I talk to so many people, especially when I go to Comic-Cons. I talk to so many people who want to become an artist or want to become a professional, whatever.
Right.
And I was just saying, like, when I had to do, you know, like I always use the story of, there was a professor that I had that every class we had to do a different still life in a different medium.
Mm-hmm.
So it was charcoal one day, it was color pencil the other day, it was watercolors the next day, it was pencil the next day. Like it was literally a different thing, and it was expensive as all get out. And I used to argue with him, because I'm like, dude, I'm buying a whole thing of colored pencils, and I'm not even going to need them after tomorrow. Now, knowing now, I did need them for another class, but like I learned a lot about work ethic at SCAD that I didn't have before I got there.
Right.
Being a professional.
Yeah, a lot of people they think SCAD, they think you can get away with just being at SCAD. I'm like, I saw a lot of trash at SCAD and that didn't make it. So don't think because you got that SCAD name attached to you that you're gonna be good. Nah, you got to grind, you got to hustle, and you got to be one of the best that's there. And that's the end of the line. I mean, just because you go there. I mean, the SCAD name does hold weight, but if you're not good, you're not gonna make it. You know what I mean? And you're gonna spend a lot of money just to draw, like you said, Goku. Like you like to draw. Don't go all the way to this expensive college because you like to draw. Nah, don't do that. That'll be a waste.
Because burnout is real at SCAD. Like, and you, once again, I always talk about the work ethic, because I had to learn that by watching other people too, because I would see all my friends, yo, I'm heading to the lab. It's like 6 o'clock. I mean, I gotta get it done. So I was like, well, damn, I guess I gotta get work done too. Or we would all be like, yo, let's go in at the same time and do it. But like, and it was such an interesting experience for me, because I've seen both parts of it. Like I've seen it in Savannah and I've seen it in Atlanta. And Atlanta is a lot more close knit. When I was there, I know it's bigger now, but when I was there, you know, it's pretty much one building, and everybody was in that one building, so you kind of knew everybody. And I always say, and Drew probably agreed with me on this, Atlanta is the black campus. It was the black campus, and Savannah wasn't.
Oh, really?
Nah, bro.
I think it's a bit different now, but yeah.
It might be different now, but when I went to Atlanta, because remember, I went to Savannah too.
Yeah.
And when I was at Savannah, the amount all the black people knew each other. All the black people. And it wasn't a lot of us. It was enough that I knew everybody. And we were all cool, even though I was a freshman and they were seniors, whatever. It was almost like, hey, we all know each other, so we all got to kind of. But when I went to Atlanta, I was like, man, there's black people everywhere. Like, good grief. Like, there was enough black people there that I didn't know some black people, which I thought was crazy. So that's how I felt. Like, it was like Chocolate City to me. I was like, it was different. I was just like, I don't know what to do with myself. I didn't expect that. I expected Savannah, where it was like 5 of us.
Nah, you came to Wakanda.
I did. It was straight Wakanda. I was looking around like in my classes, there was a bunch of us. Like we could all do stuff. Like I was just like, okay, like this is cool. But yeah, hey buddy. Gummy eyeballs. That's my son. But yeah, like it was a bonding experience, but it was also like we all helped each other.
Right.
You know what I mean? And because nobody wanted to fall, nobody wanted to be like the whack artist. At least how I always took it. Like,
oh yeah, we had the battle. We had when I was there. Actually, was it SCAD or ACA? I think it was SCAD still, because when it was first it was ACA,
right.
and I transferred from ACA to SCAD when SCAD bought ACA.
They merged, yeah.
And we used to have a battle wall, and when I tell you, man, we like you would go like if you go down into like the animation area, and it was just a wall. You put drawings up. With somebody like
really
with character. So like name 2 of your characters.
Heat and Strong.
Okay, so I'll grab Strong because Strong is a strong female, all that stuff, and I'm like, all right, bet Strong. I got a female character, and you'll draw that character doing something to Strong, and you will just see it. You don't know who did it, and you'll show up like what? So you'll come back with a drawing of Strong, and you'll put it up, and people literally was like, oh, they always look forward to the battle wall, but it's all us. And we had
I missed this.
Fire.
When I tell you it was sick, dude, all it did was inspire you because you were like, yo, you don't know who's doing what, but you're like,
right.
Oh, okay, you want to do that? And then, at the end of the week, you'd be like, oh, that was such and such. Oh, snap. But that's how it was. But it was a community of right. inspiration. You know what I mean? Like I was saying earlier, like Street Fighter, people to come to my dorms and we would just play Street Fighter and draw. We would do things like that. And it was always like a community of, I don't want to be left behind. So, yo, what are you doing? Oh, what are you doing? I'm gonna do this. Okay, bet I'm gonna do this too, because you always are stacking on top of each other to make sure iron sharpens iron.
But he's totally right though, because I've been there where like some of us are playing video games and some people are in the back doing projects, and it's not like the person doing projects isn't like, yo, y'all gotta get out because it's too loud. It's like, hey, I got next. After I finish this joint right here, or like you'd have, because I talk about how I was there until the computer shut down. You'd have all night sessions and everybody is there and ordering pizza, or I remember once, I'm not going to say who they were, but they were doing literally jumping over couches because it was so late and we were all burnt. Oh, you weren't there for that. That was don't worry about that. They was tired. But yeah, like it was very much like it was an experience that I didn't know I needed as an artist, because I never felt like I was competing against everybody. I always felt like, how did you do that? Oh yeah, you just do this. Oh, bet, thanks. And you just help each other get better. Which I thought was a different experience. And I'll say this, that was a different experience than what I experienced in Savannah. I felt more on an island in Savannah because Savannah was bigger. And it was more like to myself. Not that, I had people in my major that I would talk to, but once again, like, I'm gonna be honest, it's the black thing. You know what I mean? Like there were so many black people in my major in Atlanta that I was comfortable with. Not that I'm not comfortable with white folks. I love y'all white folks, but it's it's a shared experience.
That's just the reality, dude. It's
right.
You're gonna gravitate towards your own. You'll feel comfortable with your own. That's not. People make it something, but in reality, it's just like, no, you'll gravitate. Like I was in a work meeting today, and I looked around, and it's probably like maybe 12, 13, 14 people in a room. And I was like, I leaned over to my buddy. I'm like, yo, I'm the only black person in here. So he leaned up and he was like, He's like, how does that make you feel? I was like, it don't make me feel any kind of way. It's just interesting.
Yeah, that's I go through that. I used to go through that every day about my old jobs. I was just like, other black people here.
There's an awareness to it.
Yeah, we're always aware of it. But like Savannah was not, because the people that I hung out with weren't in my major. So they weren't doing the same projects as me. So there wasn't really that bouncing of we're working together. But when I was in Atlanta, I knew so many people, and we were all working in the same area too, within floors of each other. Whereas Savannah, if I was in the animation building and you do graphic design, you're in a whole building across town.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like I would rarely see people. Like I never saw people in fashion, ever. They were in their building. Their building was so far from my building, I never even went over there.
And that wouldn't have worked for me. I collab so much with fashion. I collab with painting, all that stuff. I literally go downstairs and be like, "Yo, roll your clothes up to the studio. Let me shoot, with some models."
Right. We had Diamond Downs. You know Diamond? She does fashion.
Sounds. Was she light skinned?
Yeah, I guess a little
I
lighter
think-
than me. Anyway,
Okay.
she
It was a girl. She was like really light skinned. That I think
No,
she was a little bit heavy set.
no, definitely.
Okay, that's a different.
But anyway, she was on our show, and I would talk to her about how like I used to just walk around. I used to walk around and just see what other people are doing. It was so inspiring, and you didn't really do that in Savannah. Like everything was just too spread out, and I would assume that it's become that way now in Atlanta, considering all the multiple buildings. Like they've got the animation building, which is far from whichever building is back on Spring Street, and then I know there's another building. So I did appreciate that because there was a sense of camaraderie, stuff like that. But yeah, man, I keep calling it. SCAD was art boot camp, man.
Yeah, it definitely. Well, when I was doing illustration, it was a little bit more of that boot camp for me because I was under the teaching of Rick Lovell, and Rick Lovell. He's. Have you ever seen did he teach you, Rick Lovell?
No. I had my favorite teacher was I just looked his name up because I'm friends with him on Facebook. Matt Maloney. I don't think he knows that
Maloney?
he was my. You want to know why he was my favorite teacher? I don't like BSers who teach me. Like I want you to teach me. Like be hard on me. Like it's okay. Like I can take it. Like if you tell me my stuff sucks, my stuff sucks. I can't get better if you. Oh yeah, you're doing so great. Like I can't get better.
Yeah.
And I always tell the story about I had my final. My final was a 3 minute animation, and it was like midway. It was the midway point of the quarter, and we all sat down and showed the progress that we had, and he sat down and he watched it and he was like, yeah, you're not going to be able to finish this. And I was just like, okay, I will, but okay, thank you. And I was so freaking motivated.
He was saying that it was like you're doing too much.
Well, he said I wasn't going to be able to finish it. That's all he said. And I was like, I was so motivated to prove him wrong. And then when I did it, he was just like, I didn't think he was going to be able to do it, but you did it.
Yeah, Maloney. It was. I think it was Maloney and the guy who does ink pulp. I think he's on Instagram. Dark beard. Him and then Steve Eichmann. Steve Eichmann hung out with Maloney and them in the gym because Maloney's all about the gym.
Yeah.
So that's how I know Maloney. Maloney's always he was rough, man. He was a rough.
He don't play, man. I'm just going to tell you that. Everybody know how to talk like Maloney, man. But that he was literally my favorite teacher. He was the one I literally went back to say hi to. I don't think I got to, but because I enjoy being pushed.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also hyper competitive.
Right.
So if you tell me I can't do something, I'm gonna prove you wrong.
Right.
And depending on who you are, I'm gonna shove it in your face. So, but yeah, Maloney was one of my favorite teachers. And what's her name? Oh, it's Tina. Is it Tina? There was another one, and then it was a gentleman who passed away too.
Who? Larry Anderson?
No, not Larry Anderson. It was an Asian guy. can't remember his name. I'm terrible with names. I mean, it was like 15 years ago.
Yeah, I'm not good. I'm not good with names. I have the same students every day, and I still don't remember their names. So
I don't know how you and Jamari do it. I'll be like, oh, we gonna put numbers on everybody's desk. A 3, come here.
I know within about 2-3 weeks I'm gonna have it.
Oh my gosh, I can't do it.
I'm in week
So
9.
I wanted to ask you. So cosplay, you are one of the photographers I know who loves it. Seems to love it, I should say. I'm not gonna speak for you. Who seems to love shooting people in cosplay? Like, what makes you, like, what draws you to that?
For me, it's superhero fashion. The cosplay, it's these people. Everybody I photograph when I first started doing it, I don't know as much anymore, but everybody was making their own costumes by hand. So for me, I was like, you're doing all this detail work and then only getting pictures on the con floor. Like, that's what you like. Nah, we're gonna get you in studio. We're gonna do this. I'm gonna do all that. So for me, it was like, it's superhero fashion. So I get to shoot them I always say I want to shoot them to make them look like a Vogue magazine cover, but it's superheroes. So it's like, oh, okay. So I get the best of both worlds. I get to do my lighting. I get to be around my superhero. Like when I got to shoot Cutie Pie Sensei, when I got to shoot her Ahsoka Tano, me and her are cool. And I photographed her. I'm like, yeah, whatever. She's like a little sister to me. But when she did Ahsoka, I fanboyed. I ain't gonna lie. Ahsoka Tano is like my favorite Star Wars character, and I fanboyed. I was just like the whole time. So, but it's one of those things where it's like I get I still get to shoot how I shoot fashion and portraiture, but with superheroes. So it's like the best of both worlds for me. And then I cosplay myself as well too. So it's just keeping it all in the nerddom family.
Please tell me Javon has some pictures of you doing cosplay. I'm curious.
I couldn't find it fast enough. I got a lot to do, man. I was compiling pictures and everything, man. Yeah, I know he has the Green Lantern one. That's the most.
What part of the country are you in right now?
Who, Javon?
No, you. No.
Me? I'm in Atlanta.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I'm right over here. Are you familiar with Atlanta?
I live in Atlanta too.
Oh, I'm right by the Braves Stadium.
You live in.
Okay.
You don't live in Atlanta.
Mall.
Listen, everybody don't live in Atlanta, y'all.
Where you live?
Everywhere don't live in Atlanta.
Can't say nothing.
I'm in Connecticut.
Exactly.
You're not in Atlanta.
I thought you were in Atlanta
still
this whole time.
No, man. Oh. I left Atlanta in 2008.
See,
I've been gone for a while.
You see what Facebook do? I thought you were here the whole time.
For a long time, I do want to get back to Atlanta. My wife and we talk about it. I wanted to go, and then she didn't want to go, and then she wanted to talk about going, and then I didn't want to go because the pandemic made me afraid of y'all.
Yeah, we didn't care down here.
No, y'all didn't. I think I'll probably get back before I hit 50 or right around the turn I turn 50, because I prefer not to be shoveling snow in my 50s.
Yeah, I hear that.
I would like to, but who knows? I mean, my son will be, I'll be 50 in some immediate time. Y'all don't need to worry about that. So he'll be.
I was listening too.
Nah. I mean, people who know me know the math. Y'all know the math.
I don't know. When it comes to black folk, we look the same for the most part.
I appreciate it.
It'd be 15 years and you look exactly the same. And you're like, I don't know how old this person is. Like, look at daggone Angela Bassett.
Oh my god!
I don't know how old Angela Bassett is.
She
could be like 93.
No, she's at least in her.
I don't think she's quite 60. No.
She's not in her 70s. She's 60. She ain't that much younger. She ain't that close to us. Angela Bassett got it because she was a grown woman in Waiting to Exhale, and I was like 15, 16.
Okay, she's 64.
Okay, I was about to say
she's 64.
She looked. Hey, look, I don't know.
Have you ever thought about doing like comic books?
Like drawing?
Like, yeah, drawing.
Only the covers. I did sequential a class at SCAD, sequential class, and I was like, yeah, this ain't for me. I like drawing one off. I'll do the cover, and then I'll be it. I don't like doing panels.
You gotta love it. Like you
Mm.
really do have to love it because it's annoying in a good way for me. It's like a puzzle for me. It's like, all right, how do I put this together to get what I need it to be? But I would have thought, considering you're a big fanboy.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're a huge fanboy. Like you and I have had multiple discussions about pretty much almost every genre in fandom. What did we just talk about? We just talked about
Well, we started. I seen your Black Panther post, and you're like, we're gonna talk about it on the show. But then the last thing, and I heard you start talking about it. I was like, oh, I want to get in there. But
go ahead. No, you know what?
About,
go ahead. I can be calm here. This is a different place than top five.
Top five,
I get.
But that's the thing. The last thing, the Black Panther thing was one thing, and me and you agree on a lot of things there. Where I'm just like, okay. But the last actual thing we were talking about was Kanye. And
oh yes, that's right. Yeah, we talked about it, and I was saying we had the discussion because you were saying that he needs help and mental health and everything like that. And my perspective on that is mental health. You get my empathy with that when you attempt to take the steps to fix whatever it is, right? But if you know you have an issue, openly decide you're not going to do anything about it, then you lose my empathy and you definitely lose my sympathy. So when people start saying, oh, he's got mental health, in my mind, I'm like, he knows that. He just decided, but even then, the things that he's doing now, to me, have nothing to do with his mental health.
Well, that's a tricky statement
because these are fundamental opinions where, like, I've seen people who are bipolar. Like I've seen people who are, who suffer from depression and everything like that. You don't see them shift fundamental beliefs like that. Like I don't know many bipolar people who are not racist and then racist like that. Like that doesn't seem to work like that. Like it's not Two-Face here. Like I've never seen it.
That's a good point.
You understand? You understand what I'm saying? Like to me, bipolar is generally like emotional,
but
like,
it could be a behavioral thing. One, and then you also have to take into account that you're dealing with somebody who is a commodity for people. So, whereas me and you, if we were in a position that we were having certain kinds of behavior, and if it's left unchecked, it'll be bad, but it's going to be bad for us and like our immediate family. It's not going to have a monetary value. It's not going to have the same effect that if Kanye has a massive episode, it's probably costing people money and jobs.
Y'all gotta stop calling it an episode, people. Stop.
You know what I mean?
When you say
I'm not saying. I understand what you're saying. I'm not calling all of his behavior.
But you're using dialogue and words and verbiage that people use for people whose mental.
I'm not calling his T-shirts an episode.
But that's my point. Like
stuff like this,
like stuff like this. That's a fundamental belief of his.
Is it?
His behavior is a byproduct of his acting out and all this other stuff. That's a byproduct of the mental illness. But the fundamental belief that Black people could have, slavery was a choice, white lives matter, all this stuff, that's like a fundamental belief that he has.
So here's
because they insisted.
But that's another thing. Here's the thing with when I feel with that. When he said Black people had a choice in slavery, I think he just didn't know how to articulate what he was really thinking. He said Black people had a choice and left it at that. And we all like, we ain't no choice. What I think he meant was why you didn't rise up and kill everybody. I think that's what he was saying, because he compared it to his clothing line. He was like,
I understand that.
You know what I mean? So I think that's one. And then the thing with White Lives Matter, I think he's trying his best to say, yo, love everybody. Why, Sway? Why? He's having these moments where he's like, I'm trying to get you to love everybody. Guess what? Since you don't want to love everybody, I'm gonna put this on and I'm gonna get the attention and you're gonna know that we're gonna love each other. And I think in his mind, he thinks he's doing good. He thinks he's trying to bring everybody together. I think that's why I said mental illness. I think he really feels, he believes that if I do this, I'm gonna get the attention I want, and they're gonna listen to me. He said when he put on the MAGA hat, he was like, that's when he, I'm showing up with Donald Trump. I'm this MAGA. He's like, because I want everybody to come together. We all want, and it's like, you don't even realize what you're doing because you're doing it for the attention. I think he's like a giant kid trapped, trying to get his ideas out. And he's like, this is how I do it. And everybody's looking at him like, you ever see a kid just, well, I don't know about you, but yeah, you got a kid. Does your kid ever just start screaming? I know the kids I work with, sometimes they just start screaming. You're like, why'd you do that? And they just were like, oh, I just really just wanted attention. But why'd you scream? Why didn't you come tap me? And it's because they didn't know, all they knew was to react that way. So I think Kanye's reacting what's going on in his mind, his bipolar mind or whatever. He's like, I'm going to do this. I think where he messed up is he was standing next to Candace Owens. And I'm like, I mean, once you
want to talk about where he messed up, we could go back a little further than that.
Well,
like,
yeah,
the black people is a choice. Slavery was a choice. Like,
but that all came out,
go back for
like out of some of his Candace time too.
I mean,
who was nothing but a grifter.
I think, but then he'll turn around and drop an album after he does some of this stuff, and I'll be like, that's why, like, I just don't mess with, like, I don't believe, like, the whole canceling thing is stupid. Like, I'm not saying canceling people is stupid. I'm saying conceptually, nobody actually really gets canceled. All right, let's just be honest here.
I think
R. Kelly's music still get played on the radio. Like, Cosby Show still comes on TV.
Oh, does it?
Like, yeah, it still comes on TV. Still comes on TV.
It doesn't have the impact it wants to.
Different World still comes on TV. But
Different World's gonna get a pass.
Put money in his pocket?
Oh.
You're not wrong about that part of it, but it doesn't. Again, I still feel like it had
him as one of the guiding voices behind it.
He was a producer of it. Yes, we know that much. He was absolutely the producer of that. I'm not saying that you're going to be able to completely cancel every last.
But my point is, I'm not saying cancel.
Put him in jail.
I'm not saying. I'm saying I don't really believe in canceling. I just go. The only way I can voice my disapproval is with my dollars and my time. So, no, I'm not going to a Kanye West concert. No, I'm not buying an album. I rarely listen to his music, with the exception of maybe like during when I work out, because he's got a couple of workout songs, like his older stuff, like Graduation and
first before. 3 album stuff.
Yeah, his first 3 albums, I rock with it because there's some messaging in there that's actually uplifting. But then there's also messaging in there that points to them doing this crap now.
Yes,
I talked about all the way back. Yeah, absolutely. But but I look at it from a different point of view. But like, I listen to Kanye's workout plan when I work out. I love that song. That's my workout song. But my point being, like, and I've said this about R. Kelly, I can acknowledge that R. Kelly was a phenomenal writer and a phenomenal singer and a phenomenal producer. And I can acknowledge that it is literally impossible to delete him and cancel him from whatever, because you could take all his songs out and he's still got a legion of songs that he wrote for other people and you don't even know it. And you'd be shocked. Oh, I like that song. Yeah, R. Kelly wrote that. I'm also one of the people that I can separate the art from the artist to a degree.
Mm-hmm.
I can. Like, I can listen to an R. Kelly song, but I don't have to spend money on him. I don't have to spend my time. I don't have to go to a concert. I don't do any of that stuff.
Look, I can't play. I can't play the 2 songs by R. Kelly. If I ever get married, I can never play either "Step in the Name of Love" or "Ignition Remix" at my wedding.
Did I play "Step in the Name of Love" at my wedding? At my reception? I might have. Yeah. But my wedding was like 7, 8 years ago.
Yeah, it's a little different. Right now, like in 2020, if I was like, yo, Javon, I'm getting married next year. You know what's not getting played? Ignition Remix, even though I would love to play Ignition Remix.
And whatever, black people still dance to it.
So yeah.
But I'm not dealing with it.
we're selective with our anger.
This is true, and most human beings are.
Yeah, I know, because I had a conversation with some kids about Black History. These kids, there was a group of Black kids at the school, and they stopped me and they're like, oh, Mr. Phillips, they're like, Thanksgiving or Black History Month, basically asking me which one I get rid of, and I was like, Black History Month. They were like, why? I said, are you Black only one month a year? And I was like, when is White History Month? They were like, that's all year. I said, when is Black History Month? February. I said, when's the shortest month of the year? February. I said, dude, and then what do they remind you of during Black History Month? We used to be slaves. I said, man, I'm good on that. I said, I'm me 365. You ain't gotta give me no month.
I mean, you're right. I mean, I what I do enjoy, what I do like now in creative culture is that I think Black voices are being heard at a level that we haven't been heard since the 90s. And I use the 90s because Black people were all over TV and movies. Like, you really got to, when you really think back, we dominated TV, we dominated music and movies. There was Black films coming out at an incredible rate. There's TV shows at an incredible rate, and they all started to die out as we got closer to the new millennium or whatever. But now we're kind of seeing that uprising again, but it's different now. It's not just like a sitcom of a few Black people sitting in their apartment talking, it's not every movie is a slave movie. Yeah, there's different avenues, different things showing up, like Sorry to Bother You. That was an incredibly creative movie.
Sorry to Bother You. Oh wow,
but even though I don't quite agree with quite understand the ending, I enjoyed the movie.
I laughed at the movie.
But the fact that movie could have been made, like you said, there was a very monotheistic kind of message of the 90s Black Renaissance in entertainment. Everything had the same feel to it. Whereas now you can have Jordan Peele doing the stuff that he's doing. You can have a movie like Dope or Sorry to Bother You, which might have never gotten made back then. Sorry to Bother You is surrealism, and we don't do surrealism in the Black community when it comes to entertainment.
Yeah. Now that I think about it, we don't.
But no, you know what is a very good show, which is actually kind of surreal. Atlanta is that is our modern. I have to get caught up on it. I'm sorry, I haven't. I'm so far behind.
I'm not caught up either.
The whole season, I got to sit down and watch. You never watch Atlanta?
I haven't watched the new stuff yet.
Yeah.
Oh, did you watch it at all?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I'm just asking. You had that look on your face. You had that stank look on your face. Like,
well, no, it's because I was like, I haven't watched the new stuff yet because we wanted to watch the whole thing and ever since Paperboy, I don't even know the actor's real name. Everything he in now, I'm like Paperboy. He's getting all these different acting roles. I'm like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, I love seeing that. You come from this one basic show, and now you're doing Marvel movies. Now you're doing this movie, that movie. I'm like,
and he's so versatile.
I know he is. He's very versatile. And I didn't expect that at all. Like, when I first started watching him, and then to see him do all this other stuff. Hey, I like seeing Black people win. Like, I'm just gonna be honest with you.
Pretty much.
I like seeing Black people win, which is why no matter my feelings on Black Panther, I'm going to see it. I'm gonna be front row, just like everybody else.
Yep.
First day.
Because
whatever that Thursday is, I will be there.
I already got the tickets.
I don't have my tickets yet, but I will get them. I'll be right there because I'm like Issa Rae. I root for everybody Black.
Yeah, Black Panther. I think I don't know. Do you want to switch topic? Because
we can switch. Hey, we on your time.
You got something. You got a glint in your eye. I see it.
Well, it's because I was okay. Most things for me, Marvel, post Endgame, have not been very good to me. I'm just gonna say good. A lot of them are entertaining, but it doesn't have that same build that they have. And what I mean by it is, like, I think they're going along this track of fun and entertaining, and let's put out a bunch of stuff.
Mhm.
And I'm like, you're dropping the ball in some areas because you're trying to put out so much stuff, and so here you're trying to do all these things. And I'm like I've been watching, like, have you guys seen Thor: Love and Thunder?
Yes.
I was like, I literally was like, really? This is what? Okay. I said, okay. Then, I'm watching She-Hulk, and I'm like, I was like, yay, She-Hulk. And then I'm just like, now I'm like, oh, okay. Now this is what I got to do with Marvel. Now I'm not watching Marvel for accuracy. I'm only watching it for entertainment. Now I feel good about Marvel stuff. So once I knew they weren't recasting T'Challa, I was like, well, why not? Well, we need to honor the actor. I was like, oh, is this because of cancel culture? Remember, we just talked about that. I said, is Marvel not doing it because they don't want to upset the people in cancel culture? If that's the case, I'm not for it. If you want to somehow give honor to Chadwick Boseman, okay, that's cool. But I think even Chadwick would want you to recast the main black character that's like the only one we have that's not a bulletproof thug or an angry vampire. You know what I mean? It's like the king who's straightforward and upright and super rich and super smart and one of the best martial artists. And then you go, yep, he had his time. We'll move on.
Exactly.
What? So I told myself, I said, cool, I don't care about it. I said, I have a friend that works on, on thing. I said, tell me the whole movie. Normally I don't watch any Marvel previews. I don't want to know nothing. I said, tell me the whole plot. So I know from beginning to end the plot of Black Panther. And I was like, okay, cool. I really don't care because if you're not recasting and continuing, I'm a fan of Chadwick Boseman. I said, but honestly, not to sound insensitive, I said Chadwick Boseman passed away, not T'Challa. So the fact that you're killing off T'Challa in a way that's just like that, it wasn't like a buildup in the Marvel universe. It was like, he's gone. You're like, whoa, that wasn't in the runnings. He was part of a lot of things. So for me, I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it, and I'm gonna be dressed in all white because that's what we doing. And, so I'm gonna be there supporting in all my African garb. But do I have the same mindset about Marvel right now? Nope.
Well, so
and you know what?
It's a lot there's a lot to break down on that. And I'll try to, for me, I think Marvel is experimenting. Now, we are in an experimental phase for Marvel. So that's number one. Number two, I think people, the problem is Endgame was like, how do I put it? Endgame was like a shot of adrenaline into everybody, and Infinity War and Endgame were like a shot of adrenaline into everybody's head. And so now I feel like everybody's trying to get that fix. Like the next Marvel thing has to give me that fix. I need that adrenaline. Instead of remembering that most of the films in the first three phases were entertaining. Iron Man. I loved Iron Man. Iron Man was different. Iron Man was like the first, because I think I went with you. I think you was with the group of us that all went to see Iron Man way back then. Iron Man was amazing. Iron Man blew our minds, right? But Iron Man 2, everybody was like, oh, I was entertained. Captain America, the First Avenger. It was pretty good. I love Captain America. I like it. I loved it. But, it wasn't Endgame. It was an entertaining movie. Thor, entertaining movie. It's all right. But remember, now Avengers blew our minds. So that's 2 out of 1, 2. Well, Iron Man was 5. So it's 2 out of 5. No, 2 out of 6. Cap, Thor, 2 Iron Mans, and Incredible Hulk. Yeah. So 2 out of 6. 2 out of 6 blew our minds, right? Then we had Guardians. Now, Guardians, I don't think it blew people's minds, but it was incredibly entertaining, like on a different level. Like people loved Guardians.
Yeah.
Yes.
Then there was Ant-Man. Now, some people liked it, some people didn't. So I just think that there was a lot of variation in the level of.
I think the nostalgia.
The nostalgia of it has. Yeah, everybody feels like, man, the first three what do you call them, phases were so amazing, and now we're not getting that. And I'm like, no, we're getting about on the level of what we got for those previous movies.
What we ended up getting at the end of all of those phases solidified the entire run to the point.
Yeah, but we
that
haven't reached
it
the end of the
made-
phase.
It crystallized a lot of stuff because a lot of people forget. Everybody hated Age of Ultron when it came out.
I liked it. I did.
A lot of people
I loved it.
hated
Whenever
that.
I
People
loved
forget
it.
Thor: Dark World exists. People forget that
Well, yeah, I forgot
Iron
about
Man
that.
3 exists
Iron Man 3.
because like those movies were not liked at the time. They were looked at whatever.
But
you
then they
did,
had
blah, blah, blah.
2 Captain America movies that were mind blowing. Remember?
Yes.
So it was like they had a couple of okay, I'm entertained. Winter Soldier. Oh my God, that was so freaking great. Like I loved it. A couple of entertaining ones. Boom, Civil War. Oh my God, I loved it. And then Black Panther came up. So and then another thing is they had like a few. So they had Civil War, and then they did Black Panther, and then they did Infinity War. So that was like getting shot 3 times. And then they did Captain Marvel, and it was okay. And then they hit you with Endgame. Then they hit you with Endgame. So if you really go back, the balance isn't, like I like Black Widow. I like Shang-Chi. I've watched Black Widow. I actually really like Black Widow. I like Shang-Chi.
I really like Shang-Chi.
Eternals. I get what they were trying to do. I just think it was the wrong format. I think if they would have did that like a 12 episode TV show where you got to like spend time with the characters and go in and out of history and everything, I think it would have been amazing.
That should have been our first Disney series. I
don't know about first, but it should have been a Disney series. And then what was after Eternals? Doctor Strange, was it? Now I was blown away by Doctor Strange. I thought Doctor Strange.
No, actually, No Way Home came before.
No Way Home. So No Way Home.
Yeah, Doctor Strange was before Eternals.
Everyone loved
Doctor Strange was
Spider-Man.
after Eternals.
Everyone really liked Spider-Man.
Yeah, Doctor Strange just came out this year.
You think Multiverse of Madness? I'm talking about Doctor
That's
Strange.
what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I was gonna say no. Doctor Strange.
No, when I say Doctor Strange in this phase, I'm talking about Multiverse of Madness.
Mm-hmm.
So like we had No Way Home, which people loved. I love Doctor Strange. I think that you get some people who loved it and some people who were like, eh. Exactly, I think Thor: The Dark World to me is probably their biggest misstep. Their only misstep.
What happened in that movie?
I think Taika just went full Taika.
Didn't he just do Love and Thunder?
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, you said Dark World.
No. I said Love and Thunder. He said Dark World.
Oh,
Jamari said Dark World. I'm talking about Love and Thunder.
Love and Thunder. I think he went full Taika, and that's when I was just like,
Taika.
I was like, what? As soon as he jumped and did that split on the bikes and was holding it, I said, okay, I'm done. I
didn't have a problem with that. I just think that those type of I think he went to the well with certain jokes too many times.
Or they overstayed their welcome on screen.
Yeah, and they would undercut dramatic parts with humor in a way that was disruptive. Like the tone of the film should have been one way, but they went the other way. And then every time they kept veering to the way that the tone of the film should have went, they ripped it back the other way. So I was entertained, but if I did my top list, it'll probably be very low, unfortunately. But it had some good parts in it. But I do think Marvel is building. I honestly think that the TV shows might be better than the films in this phase.
I think that's absolutely
WandaVision was great. I love Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I don't know what people got a problem with that show. That show was great from start to finish. I know a lot.
There's a lot of people that do not. They think that it was slow or it didn't have. It's something disconnected, and I felt like, why?
Bro, I love that from start to finish. What was it? Loki's
probably the best.
But to me, all those everything you're talking about, all tied. Everything tied into something. WandaVision, all that stuff tied. The stuff we get now, I'm still waiting. And even the cameos, like I heard She-Hulk had a really cool cameo. I don't know what it is.
It's really
and I was
good.
just like, all right, well, is it going to be
Now I gotta
something
go
that's
watch it
tied in?
after this.
It's really good. It's
Yeah, I'm gonna
really
watch
good.
after this. Now, I'm still wondering.
She-Hulk's really good. I like
Is it? I'm still wondering from Shang-Chi. I'm like, okay, well, what's the purpose of his rings now? You know what I mean? I'm still waiting to get that to be tied back into something. So
But remember, there was a lot of stuff in the first two phases that
Didn't come
didn't
back
get
until
tied
later.
in. Remember all those little like the Soul Stone and all that other stuff. We didn't know those were Infinity Gems until Thor: The Dark World. We didn't
And
know.
something that a lot of people don't always get about this, we tend to think that they've got these things planned out 10 years in advance. They really don't. At best, they've got
I think they
sort
had
of.
this one.
I think they've
they
got.
had this
I
one.
think they got. I think it's more outlines. I think they have certain things they've got that they want to hit. I think there's a.
You don't announce Secret Wars in Kang Dynasty without knowing where you go.
Well, that's the outline. And then you go back in and you fill in the outline with your details.
I think I think they know where they're going. Though. I think they know where they're going because enough crumbs have been scattered about throughout all these shows that I'm like Multiverse, Kang, Dark Avengers, or Thunderbolts, excuse me. And then I'm pretty sure they're going to do a Young Avengers show or TV show and movie. So that's 4 things that they've laid the seeds for that, like, I mean, I don't know how deep you are into Marvel lore, but if you are deep, if you know enough, you'll be like, oh yeah, okay. Oh, okay, I see that.
I'm still convinced that this is all eventually going to lead to Avengers Forever.
No, I think that Secret Wars is the big thing. I think
I'm talking about after that. I still think after that it's going to be Avengers Forever.
I'm sure they'll have something, but I do think. But as for the T'Challa thing, as I said before, I'm with you. I think there's a lot of people who use the rationalization that, well, we get a black superhero, female superhero now. And Jamari and I have had this conversation. I'm like, why do we have to lose a black male superhero to get a black female superhero? We don't need to lose one to get the other.
Yeah,
but
we should have room for both.
Right. But I think Morgan and Danny, their point has always been Morgan and Danny, who I do top 5 with. Their point has always been, well, the cast and the crew didn't want to recast him. So what do you do? That. And my point is, and it sounds so callous, and I feel so bad every time I say it. But in my mind, I'm like, okay, either push the movie back until you're ready to go, or you push it back a little bit, but you do your job.
Yeah,
it sounds terrible. I know it sounds terrible. I understand that it sounds terrible. I know it makes me sound like a jerk, but like when I hear actors say that, well, the role belongs to Chadwick, I'm like, it doesn't. Black Panther has existed. T'Challa was here before Chadwick, and unfortunately, he'll be here after Chadwick. And if I can get 100 Batmen and 100 Supermen and 50 Spider-Men and 3 Captain Americas, and then I should be able to get 2 T'Challas. And I understand that he passed, and I understand that they have emotions that they need to work through. But in my mind, you're still making a film called Black Panther. So you're still surrounded by him doing this film.
And
you understand what I mean?
It's basically a giant funeral for him.
Right.
So, at the end of the day, but my thing is like, and I get that
logic don't make sense to me.
But that's why now I approach these Marvel movies with, I'm not looking for accuracy. I'm only looking for entertainment. So I can
I gave up accuracy
and be like, yeah, that's cool. It's a cool movie.
Are we looking for accuracy? Or are we looking for gravitas and weight to them? I think because when you had, again, we go back to the two big movies that solidified those first phases forever. Those had a weight to them that nothing had previously had, and they slowly built to that weight. But now, they have to essentially do it again. They're just not going to use the exact same formula to get there.
Yeah, and that's my thing is when you say the weight, I look at some of the writing, and that's what I tell people. I'm like, what I'm upset at is some of the writing where I'm like, if it's so obvious and so dumb, I'm like, okay, you've messed up my suspended belief. So I'm like, I'm no longer interested. So
Like
what I
Give
do
me an
now,
example.
huh?
Give me an example of something so obvious and so dumb.
Other than Thor: Love and Thunder.
Other than Thor: Love and Thunder.
I'm looking at okay, Miss Marvel, right?
Okay.
A lot of stuff she does. I mean, I know she's a kid, but a lot of stuff you do, I'm like, did you seriously just? Oh no, I have a better one for you. Spider-Man: No Way Home. I was like, I don't know who that is, but they're calling him Doctor Strange, and I don't know how Doctor Strange turned into a complete idiot. And then I don't know about a kid who's done time travel, understands the gravity and weight of things. Yet you meet these villains, and then you go, "But we can change them." What?
But that at least fits Spider-Man. The Doctor Strange thing is legit. The Doctor Strange thing, that is a legitimate complaint.
Is it? Have you read Doctor Strange comics?
Mm-hmm.
I feel that
there's quite a few Doctor Strange comics. There's quite a few Doctor Strange comics where he's all ego and does something he's supposed to do and screws up.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you that. But my thing is, you don't come off of this super duper logical Doctor Strange and then go right into a dumb Strange where you're like,
but I don't think he was being dumb. I think he was being. I thought it was hubris.
You thought it was humorous.
Hubris.
Oh, hubris. I thought you said humorous. I was gonna say
no, Hubris.
But my thing is like you go in and you're like, but you went and you sat and you saw a gazillion ways that the world can go. You took that much time. You sacrificed this man's life because all this stuff. You know the gravity. Yet this kid comes and goes, "Hey, can you make everybody forget?" Oh, sure, but don't make this person forget. Okay, don't make this person forget. Okay, well, what else? All right, stop. You're gonna mess up my spell. You're gonna.
But they've made the point that you need concentration for spells. Like they've already they set up a lot of stuff before it. But I know, like in the moment, it was used as humor. Like in the moment, it was used, Peter being, talk too much. Like we in every film he talks too much. But like I think it was a matter of like he, it was hubris, and he took pity on him.
I don't know. All I know is
I get what you're saying, but I've seen a lot of Doctor Strange books where I'd be like, why would you do that? But Doctor Strange is, he's an egomaniac, just like Tony Stark. Tony Stark does dumb stuff in the MCU too.
I can honestly say I can't think of one time that Tony Stark did something and I was like, why'd you do that? I can't
made a murder bot,
huh?
He made a murder bot.
But why did he make that murder bot?
Remember, he was messing around with the stone. He wasn't supposed to be messing around with it the way he did.
You talking about Vision or Ultron?
Ultron.
Ultron was his protection because he wanted to put a shield around the world because he saw the vision of Thanos coming. Right. So his whole point was he wanted to protect the world. He didn't want to make a murder bot. He literally wanted to put a shield around the world to protect.
Yeah, but remember, he was trying to revive Vision too. And they had no idea. Remember, Ultron was trying to put himself in the Vision, and he was like, they just like even Bruce Banner was like, "Yo, we shouldn't do this," and he convinced Bruce to do it.
Yeah,
and they wasn't.
You could argue a lot of the problems leading up to that.
Remember, in Avengers 1, he kept trying to turn Bruce Banner into the Hulk. Remember, they were talking. Tony does crazy stupid stuff.
That was one thing I would be like, okay, why'd you do that?
That's what I'm saying. Like Tony
there's some Tony stuff he's done, especially in the bad Iron Man 3 movie. There's stuff that he's done. I'm not saying.
Oh yeah, that's right. How about telling the bad guy exactly where you live? And remember Iron Man 3? He got on the media. It was like, hey, if you want me, come see me at blah, 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 blah. And told him exactly where he lived. And what happened? He got his whole house blown up.
That is true.
So
It's
I think
not it's not
go ahead,
impossible. It's not impossible. Like I feel like the Doctor Strange thing is more valid simply because you could have shown the hubris aspect a little bit better.
Well, they did. Remember, what's his name told him not to do it.
Oh,
Wong told him not to do it, and
that
Wong,
part of it for sure.
And then he left, and he was like, "Let's do it." But remember, this is the same. This is the same Doctor Strange that went in the library and read from a book he wasn't supposed to read, and used the time stone, which he wasn't supposed to use.
But
and
you know what? You
understand what I'm saying?
That movie will look better in the after effect, though, is when they go into Multiverse of Madness. Then Spider-Man No Way Home makes more sense.
Well, that's the way it was supposed to go. Yeah, COVID messed everything up. Yeah, I read that somewhere. Multiverse of Madness was supposed to come out before No Way Out.
No Way Home. Okay.
No Way Home. No Way Out. No Way Home.
Huh.
Yeah, read up on it. And they literally had to reshoot scenes from the movie because No Way Out was coming first.
So that would make sense.
No Way Home.
That new Doctor Strange with the eyeball on his forehead, he was different. He was a different type of Strange at that point because he lost so much and this and that. And he's seen so much, and he was a little bit like, oh, okay, he's no longer the Sorcerer Supreme, so he's a little bit, different. So I get that part. I would get that part.
Yeah. But yeah, when it comes to the MCU, I agree with you. I'm not looking for Oscar-worthy movies. I'm looking for movies that respect the books that they came from, and then they're entertaining and they have a couple of clever things. Like that's my criteria. Like if you fit all,
you like the new She-Hulk origin?
I mean, it's pretty much the same origin from the books. Yeah,
I'll tell you something that I feel like they messed up.
She in the books, she gets to a car crash, and Bruce Banner gives her a blood transfusion. The only thing they changed was he didn't give her a transfusion.
And it wasn't some random mad.
Yeah, it wasn't some random thing. That to me, that's setting up probably World War Hulk.
Which that doesn't. Oh my gosh, I'm not even gonna get into that. Anyway,
well, it's a different. So it's either probably going to be called Planet Hulk instead of World War Hulk.
It can't be though.
Why? But once again, they're doing it. They're not taking it directly from the books anymore. It's almost like we're taking this idea and we're going to expand on it. Like I wouldn't even be surprised if in the next movie they show he's got a son that he left behind on Sakaar and everything like that. So they're taking aspects of probably World War Hulk and Planet Hulk, and they're just kind of putting it together. Just like Civil War wasn't a straight, even Winter Soldier had different aspects of all these other things. Age of Ultron was nothing like what the Age of Ultron book is like. The Age of Ultron book had like time travel and multiverses and all this other crazy stuff. So
I don't so much have a problem. I feel like the thing that has always been the key to the successful movies has been, do you keep the spirit of it? And I'm going to go back into that with the thing that I feel like one thing that they really messed up in my eyes was Taskmaster. Overall, I like the Black Widow movie, and now you're bringing this version of Taskmaster back for Thunderbolt, and to me, I don't care what you say. That's the Taskmaster, some version of Taskmaster that's more accurate to the comic version, or at least some of the versions that have appeared either in video games or other stories, would have been way better served than the one we got in that movie. So, and I also
really
think they didn't do a great job of showing what Taskmaster's ability, how Taskmaster.
They probably could have done a better job, to me, but they changed it for the twist. The twist in the end, that. But
I get it.
I would have personally just used another villain, or just come up with a new villain. Like I don't see why if they just come up with a new villain. I don't think anybody would have. But I think they take liberties. But at the same time, the two biggest movies that everybody loved are nowhere close to the original storylines. Infinity War and Endgame. Nowhere close.
True.
Infinity War is nothing like Infinity Gauntlet.
But
Infinity War is actually closer to the Infinity graphic novel crossover. It's closer to that than it is anything else. Like even Avengers, we all love Avengers. All of us here can admit that we love the first Avengers movie. It ain't nothing like how the spirit of it, how they get together is there, but it's not the same roster. It's not. To me, the difference is if you respect it enough to pay homage to it, I'm good with it. And it's entertaining. It's the difference between DC and Marvel, right? Like DC would do something. I'm trying Justice League. Let's look at Justice League. They didn't have the spirit of the books. It was like dour and dreary, and those heroes are supposed to be bright and shiny, like Superman and Wonder Woman and Flash. Like, I mean, how many scenes occurred when they were like during the day? Like all of them were at night in the rain and depressing, and like, oh my gosh, like it's like, dude, like you don't seem to understand what you're doing here. Like, like it's funny because it's always traditionally the other way around. Like the Marvel heroes are more grounded and everything, but they made them bright and shiny. Like the entire third act of Avengers is in broad daylight. Infinity War, broad daylight. You know what I mean? Like, so they haven't figured out how to be entertaining, keep the spirit of the book, and then be clever.
That's because everything they've made has a level of, it's almost like they're ashamed of their source material.
I agree.
That's a good way to say it. I'm gonna start saying that.
The best ones they have are the ones that actually like was it Shazam? I was entertained with Shazam. I thought it was okay. It's okay. It's not like, it ain't gonna change your life.
I'm looking forward to, where's my toy? Oh, it's way over there. Black Adam. I'm looking forward to Black Adam.
I hope that works out. I really do, and I think that'll be a good. I think it's going to work because I think this is going to be similar, not so much in tone, but because it's going to be a passion project for the people involved. The Rock wants to make this successful. He wants to have something he can launch onto, and I think it's going to be similar, like how Deadpool was.
Deadpool. Yep. Yeah. I was thinking exactly. That's why I'm excited about it, because I'm like, oh, The Rock is over it. He's taking charge. Same thing happened with Deadpool. It's like, oh, you finally gave us what we were looking for because you had to take some of these people's hands out of it. So now that Dwayne Johnson is like, I've been waiting to do this, I think it's going to actually be good, and they're going to have to backtrack now and be like, all right, well, what else can we do along this line? Because once the Snyder Cut came out for Justice League and everybody was like, that's what we've been waiting for, and those folks were like, yep, and now cut it. You're like, you wanted to cut the thing that everybody was happy for? Yeah, let's make another.
You like the Snyder Cut?
Compared to the first Justice League, they gave actual backstory and all that stuff.
I thought it was just a different pile of manure.
It's a different smell for sure.
Listen, I watched the Snyder Cut. I sat here at my drawing table while I was doing, I think it was Heat #1, and I was watching it, and I was like, this is depressing. This is boring. And
I like this in comparison too.
But neither one was good. The other one was like like cut up, and you could tell that it wasn't quite right. And this one, it was just like, it's still going on. When will it end?
That is true.
I kept looking at my clock, like, God, dog.
If there's ever a movie that is completely self-important, it's the Snyder Cut.
And then didn't they cap it off with two really dumb things at the end, with Martian Manhunter showing up like, hey, if you need my help, call me next time. I'm like, where were you like an hour in the movie beforehand? Where were you two films ago?
Yeah.
You just watched Doomsday blow everything. But that right there is why they don't get it. And then the whole post-apocalyptic part where like Joker's talking forever, and I was just like, it just like the whole movie gave me a headache. And I was just like, I want this to be over. I've never looked back.
Like I said, in comparison to, like, they keep making new Batman, new Superman. They just keep doing the same stuff over and over again, and they keep, I guess they're like, that puts butts in seats at the movie theater. But I don't know. I'm hopeful. Like, it's DC, so my expectations aren't very high. But I'm hopeful that this movie is going to be good, at least good.
I feel like they're gonna learn. I feel like it will be successful, and it might even be good. But I feel like they're gonna learn the wrong lesson from it.
Remember when we tricked ourselves into believing Aquaman might be good?
The problem with Aquaman is that it was 3 movies that they jammed together into one. That would have been a really great trilogy if they would have just separated into 3 movies. But by the end of the movie, I was just like, I don't know what's going on, and I'm about to have an epileptic shot with all this strobe lights, and just it was a whole bunch of nothing.
It was like Little Mermaid, James Bond, and
Romancing the Stone,
and all that all together. Because I was like, I was watching it. I just wanted to see Jason Momoa. I was like, that dude looks dope as Aquaman. But other than that, I was just like, I don't know what I'm watching. It's a DC movie. It's just on.
And the funny part about Jason Momoa is Aquaman, and DC think they slick, or not DC. I say Warner Brothers, because DC handles the comic books. They don't really do any of that.
Yeah.
But Warner Brothers thinks they're slick. They tried to do Namor before Namor. Jason Momoa is playing a version of Namor. So I'm very interested in how Marvel is going to do their version.
I heard they switched up Namor. That's why he's not from Atlantis. He's from that place over by New Mexico or Mexico or whatever. And they're giving him like the Aztec background because they don't want to. They don't want to mix up with Atlantis.
I'm assuming that he's from Atlantis, but it just is an offshoot of that Aztec culture. That's my assumption. That's how they're going to run with it. But I'm just talking about like personality. Like personality wise, he's very like. Well, we're trying to do Namor without Namor.
It's not the sinister Namor. It's more of the playful Namor.
I'm just hoping Namor is an a-hole, because if Namor ain't an a-hole in the movie, he ain't Namor. That's all I'm saying. Namor has to be a straight a-hole, and I mean a funny a-hole. He gotta be funny.
Like, who would have been a good one years ago?
I'm trying to think of an idea. I'm trying to think of a character. Who Namor's that dude that says everything that's on their mind, like I'm I gotta come up with
the dude from Nick Tuck from back in the day who actually ended up being the old Dr. Doom. He would have been a good Namor for back.
That's Namor right there. You're right. You remember Nick Tuck? Oh,
he's the guy who played.
Man,
he was the guy in those old Fantastic Four movies.
Man, go binge watch that right now, dude. That's one of the best shows.
He loves Nick
Tuck. I know. Watch it. Is it like a superhero show?
No. It's a show about these two plastic
high power plastic surgeons.
Yeah, it's really good though. It was really good. I don't know how it tailed off at the end, but it was really good for like the first 3 or 4 seasons. It was really
do you like characters like House, who are like these ultra arrogant motherfuckers who?
House is another example of
like those kind of people who they tend to be right and everyone thinks they're wrong, but they're like geniuses and they always seem to find a way.
Huh? Well, I don't know. The kind of shows I watch are I'm more of a action adventure or Black Mirror type shows.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
you know what I mean? Like if there's something like to be figured out and there's a villain and there's a problem to go toward, then I'm like, oh, that's dope. Like I used to love Law and Order because they were always going after a villain. Always. There was always some. But if it's just a show like The Office is hilarious to me. But would I sit and watch it? I mean, I might watch 1 or 2 episodes, but it won't trap me because there's nothing to like for me to attach to. You know what I mean? In my head, I'm like, okay, what would I do if I was this person? But the funny shows like that, I'm like, oh, I'm never gonna be that, so I don't really attach to it. But if you say it's good,
yeah, give it a shot, man. Just try the first couple of episodes.
Yeah.
All right, so I don't want to hold you too long. We gave you a little more time because we had all kinds of
This was a great conversation.
technical whatever. But we're gonna have you back though. We definitely gonna have you back.
I'm gonna start with my laptop next time.
I should have told you to do that from the begining.
I don't know why my actual computer worked. This computer's trash. I have a $6,000 paperweight.
Oh man, that's a lot of money for
Oh boy.
All right, so what we do at the end of every show is we ask every guest to give a top 5, and we pick a topic. And I don't know the topic until I get in the show. So I think you're gonna like this one. Top 5 favorite characters to see cosplayed.
Ooh, well, Ahsoka Tano. That's number 1. Aloy from Horizon series.
Oh,
I fanboy over Aloy too.
I'm currently playing the second game now.
I'm currently beating it for the second time now.
Second time.
Yeah.
I did that one, the other one. I platinum the hell out of the first one, and yeah. So
yeah. So Ahsoka Tano, Aloy.
Fire.
I like a good what's this character from Overwatch? She's purple. Can't remember her name. I photographed Cutie Pie Sensei as her. It's a certain
Is she the one? Is she the one? Dang it.
She has like this blade. She's purple and blue.
Okay, I don't know that one.
Yeah, so
I know that
she have like a headset thing.
Well, she got like she got like this. Let me see if I can.
Does she use
I think I know you're talking about. I think I've taken pictures of people dressed as the person. I'm almost positive at Comic Cons I've seen this person. She wears like a form-fitting outfit, right? Yes, I know you're talking about.
Sombra?
I don't know Overwatch, but I know that.
What's the name you said?
Sombra or Samara?
I think that's it. I think it's the Samara one. Let me see if I have.
Symmetra. I think she's. That was the one I was thinking it would be.
Yeah.
Or Widowmaker.
Widowmaker. I'm lying. It's Widowmaker.
Okay.
It's
Widowmaker. There you go.
Yeah.
All right.
I got to see what.
I had to go back and pull them up because I was like, all right, who are all I know certain ones they're always going to be like Tracer's always going to be in there.
Okay, that's 3. Right. Got 2 more.
So Ahsoka, Aloy, Widowmaker. I also like. I ain't gonna front. I do like depending on how they do if they flip it and do a good one. But whenever somebody does like a good Chung-Li, because sometimes they'll do the Afro puffs and the big bracers and they'll do stuff. So a good Chung-Li, and she has a few different outfits, so I'll do that. And then last but not least, I would say male or female.
Doesn't matter.
Because in my head I was just thinking all female.
As we all do.
Yeah. I know one good M'Baku. I saw one good M'Baku.
I've never seen anybody dressed like M'Baku. I've gone to so many Comic Cons and I've not seen
I've seen
M'Baku.
People do that. Like you said, it has to be very good.
And I'm talking about like the freaking tribe. This is one cat. I think he's out of Atlanta. He's about 6'4". He looks like M'Baku. And he has it to the costume to the T. And when I saw that, I was like, yo, that's dope. Because it makes me feel like that's the real character. So
right.
That's what I
All
like.
right, Jamari, give me a 5.
Let's see. When I always see it. I always I want to personally cosplay something that involves armor. So I have a dream of doing Alphonse from Brotherhood. So when I see a
Okay.
really good Full Metal Alchemist Alphonse suit, I'm always impressed with that. I tend to like I love it when someone does a really good Gundam suit.
Okay.
They're
I've
always
seen one.
intricate. They require a lot of work.
I've seen one.
Yeah, like when I've seen some people with so when you go watch the actual contest, they really kill it. This one's kind of a combo. I love it when I see a really good, really accurate cast of Cowboy Bebop. The main three.
Okay.
I love seeing people do that, and I was really surprised. I had a student recently when we did character day. He did Spike Spiegel, and he did a great job, right down to the hair.
Okay.
So that's
That's
what three. Who do I also like seeing? I love seeing really good Persona 5 cosplay. So I guess you could say Joker from Persona 5, but I like seeing any of those characters. That's four. Is there something like I'm trying to think, is there a trump card for anything that I like? I gotta see it.
Got one
Somebody
more.
does-
One more. I'm gonna start doing the countdown. The Jeopardy
Hey,
song.
look, I like seeing stuff. Look,
Gotta pick one. Do 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 do.
I like a really good Static Shock.
Okay.
Oh,
I've seen a few of those. All right. Oh man. This is tough. Because I see a lot
Mm,
of cosplay. and especially in my life, in my line of work.
yeah, I'm sure mine would change if I did another 5. So,
right. I
uh,
just thought of a few others just while we were doing
I
it.
know. You know who every time I see a good one, and when I say a good one, this is gonna sound very chauvinistic. But I mean when the person looks like the drawing, when I see a good Harlequin, I like seeing good Harlequins. Yes. And when I say good one, y'all know what I mean with a good one. Try not to be too whatever. Um, I love seeing a good Iron Man. Like when it look like when you do a good one, especially when I've seen a couple of these, but I've seen a couple of Hulk Busters. Yeah. Yeah. I've seen 2 of them at least in my lifetime. Here in
I've seen a
Connecticut.
Hulk Buster
Connecticut.
at Dragon Con before.
I saw one when we went. I think I saw one then, and then I saw one here in Connecticut. I love seeing a good. I love seeing a good Black Panther. I mean, a good one, not a half one, but like a good one. Jesus. All my stuff are comic book characters. I don't know who half the people y'all were talking about were. I'm be perfectly honest. I was just nodding along. Like
A lot of mine were anime and gaming.
I like a good Poison Ivy. I like seeing a good Poison Ivy. You understand what I mean?
You know what's fun about Poison Ivy? Because that one you can take so many liberties with.
Yep.
Yeah.
But and you can come up with so many different versions. But yeah, like you said, the people who even when they take artistic liberty with it, they still find a way to get the spirit of it right.
Yep. Oh man, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I still hear
okay,
you.
good. My computer decided it wants to give me the rainbow circle of doom. So
I can still hear you though.
Okay, good. That's cool. Can you see me?
And you're
I see
frozen.
a picture of
I'm
you.
frozen.
Yeah.
All right, that's all right. You can hear me. And I'm trying to think. The last one, I don't see it often, but when I see it, I like seeing a good storm.
Ooh.
I don't see Storm as much as I shocked, honestly, that I don't see a lot of
Because you're in
Storm.
Connecticut.
Probably. I mean, I go, I go up and down the East Coast, so I've been to Dragon Con, and I didn't see a lot of Storms.
I think a lot of black people are boycotting that because as soon as you mention black character, they're like, "Ooh, Storm." And you're like, I can be somebody else. Storm's not the only black character.
Well, then it's either that or Dora Milaje. Like
Now,
I don't.
yeah.
Yeah, now there's not, especially for women.
For Shuri.
I don't see a lot of Shuris. I don't think I've ever seen a Shuri.
I see a lot of Shuris as Black Panther though. When she put on a Black Panther costume, and she had her right here and stuff.
I haven't seen that either. I've seen one Spectrum / Photon or whatever you want to call it.
Ooh.
I've seen one, and that was just recently when I was in Boston. I saw one person dressed it. I was like, okay, all right.
If I were in shape, I'd love to do Blue Marvel, but nobody would know.
No, I've seen a Blue Marvel. I've seen.
I have
friends
out here that do Blue Marvel.
Yeah. I don't think I would ever cosplay. I've been told that I should cosplay as my own character.
I think you would. I think if you wanted to pull it off just for fun, you could pull it off.
What do you have against it?
I have nothing against cosplaying. I like watching it.
I'm saying, like,
here's the deal. Huh?
What do you have against you doing it?
I don't really dress up like that anymore. I did a lot as a kid. Everybody knows me. I was always dressing up as Superman.
So in your mind,
everything.
you think it's a little juvenile.
No, I got other things to do. I prefer drawing him and making the characters. I'll put my time towards that. Y'all could dress up like Heat. I would love it. Everybody, hey, listen, I can try it. I would literally be honored. I've never seen, nobody has done a cosplay as my character yet. I don't really expect it, but it would be a really nice, thing to see, or strong or whatever. I'm just
keep putting the books out. Somebody will eventually.
Hey man, I gotta. Hey, listen, man. I'm trying to. I need to sleep at some point.
Hey,
are you 100% digital?
No, I have print books.
You say you what?
I have print books.
No. How you create?
No. I'm pen and pencil. I am attempting to transition. Well, I'm not transitioning. I don't think I'll ever transition. I love pen and paper too much. I will eventually start doing some books digitally, but it's a skill that I haven't quite wrapped my brain around. If you ever see my prints, all my prints are digital because it's a full image. I don't have to do the boxing and all that other stuff. Like I don't have to do that. It's just one image. So it's not really. It wouldn't make me go faster.
You ever try Procreate on iPad?
No.
I've
heard. I know. But see, what people don't understand is I want to try this, but that means it would take me time to get used to it and to learn it because it is a skill.
Well, I will say I was like that at first. I was like, I'm never doing this. And then actually one day, one of my homegirls, I was at her house and she had an Apple Pen that she bought for her niece, but her niece didn't need it. And I was like, oh, I said, let me borrow it and I give it back. She's like, you can just have it. I'm not going to do anything with it. I said, okay. So I got Procreate and I was like, let me do this thing everybody doing because they keep telling me I need to do it. And then I found myself like, oh, I brought it everywhere I went because you think it would be so different. But once you start making those marks, you're like, oh, the only thing that feels different is if it feels smooth, but that's it. That's the only thing.
Well, it's not that I'm never going to do it because I use a tablet right now. When I draw a page in pencil and ink, I take it, scan it, and then I alter stuff in it while, in Photoshop. So it's not a total foreign concept to me. It's just to do an entire page and then do an entire book. It would take me time to do research and to learn and to get used to it to the point where I'm comfortable enough I'm comfortable with putting this out for people to buy. But if I do that, if I take that time, then it's time I'm taking away from actually making a book. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I'm at the point now where I'm trying to get books out, and so like I would need to basically take like a month and be like, all right, I'm not doing anything but learning how to use this, and I might do that in like, you know, I got a month coming up in December where I'm not doing anything, so I might do that then. But it's just I got to learn how to do it, you know, like
I say just sketching it. Just get it. Don't get it with the mindset of I'm using this to do new pages. Just get in it, start sketching your characters out in it, and just have fun with it, and then see how it feels.
you prefer it over Photoshop.
Procreate. I tried drawing in Photoshop and I didn't really like it as much. That's why I didn't do it. Procreate literally feels like I'm in my sketchbook. That's the only reason I like it. Like oh wait, did you see on my Instagram? I drew that Instagram, all those drawings, those recent drawings, that's all Procreate.
Oh, okay. All right.
So that's all that. So it literally feels like I'm drawing it. And like Photoshop, it didn't feel the same as Procreate. Procreate, it literally feels like I'm drawing with a specific kind of like pencil. And I was like, oh, okay, it's cool. And then you can get a little film that goes over your pad that feels like paper, or you can get a nib. Like Daniel Barnes, he only draws on his iPad, and he has a nib that feels like pencil, like paper, like has a little bit of a grit to it. So
All right,
I would say playing it. Don't take it serious. Just playing it. Like that's what I did.
I would have to get an iPad too. Number one.
Yeah.
I have a Samsung tablet.
Mm.
I was, yeah. But
a lot
I'll look
to it.
into it. Yeah, I know. But thank you for coming in, man. I'm sorry that we had so many like technical difficulties, but eventually we got it in. You know, I enjoyed the conversation. We definitely gonna have you come back in. Let us know when you got projects coming out that you want to push or whatever. You can definitely come on and do that. We love it. We're here to support everybody that has come on the show, and even people that, you know, haven't been on the show. We're here to support, you know, creative folks. So we do appreciate you, man. And keep grinding, man. Keep being creative and keep doing awesome stuff.
I'm gonna try to, man. That's all we can do. I do it to stay sane.
Hey, that's true. We all do this so we don't go crazy. Like if I didn't have this art, I'd be putting chairs through windows right now. But yeah, man, listen, take care. Thank you everybody that hung up for the for the tenure. We went longer tonight, but that's because we had so much technical difficulties. I don't know, maybe I edit this one down. I don't know, probably not. I got too much to do. But please stop by next week. We got what's his name? How do you pronounce his name? I don't want to butcher his name. So if I butcher your name, I'm sorry, dude. David Guringer. I probably tore it up. But he's a musician and another creative person. So he's going to be on next Thursday. Enjoy you guys' weekend. And like I said, go watch She-Hulk. It's really good. Because I'm about to watch Werewolf at Night. I'm about to watch Werewolf. Yeah, man, Werewolf at Night on Disney Plus, Marvel comic book. And I'm gonna watch that joint either tonight or tomorrow morning. So y'all have a good week. Enjoy your weekend, and thank you for stopping by for Creative Talk with creative people.
All right. She-Hulk.
Hold on. I don't know if we're offline yet. My computer is acting up, man. Okay.